to tune into my girl, Moja. She got the tea, got the juice, got the soda. She got the interviews from all over. So don't say that I never told ya.
Guys, I'm here with Hewlin Achat, the coordinator of this entire amazing event that we're having here at Brian's Gate. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's not going to be a problem at all because I'm really excited to hear what it is we're going to talk about.
Yes, the Irie People Village. I like to say Irie people are the makers of Trinidad and Tobago, right? We say it's a handcraft community, a gathering of people who have the vision of creating things that are distinctly Trinbagonian and that can be a representation of our culture, and our creativity as a people.
So we're here with another exhibitor at this amazing event that we covered today at the Irie People Village Expo. Would you mind telling us who you are and what's the name of your business?
Sure, my name is Marima Fraser. I come from Point Fortin.
Wow.
Yes, and the name of my business is Joa Jewelry Collection.
Ah. Are you wearing your jewelry?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And just today, my boyfriend was asking, about the outfit, and I told him I've come to the realization that for every market I go to, these are always my go-to earrings. So I think they are my market earrings.
Do they bring you luck?
I think I bring me luck.
That's what we're talking about. So tell us about your business, how it came to be. Why jewelry?
It actually started as a gift of beads I got a few years ago, and I would have made stuff and hide it away just for the sake of making stuff. And a few years later, I was encouraged, you really make beautiful stuff. So I was pushed literally to come out of the shell because my biggest fear was, okay, I like what I make. What if nobody else likes it? So I think that was the biggest deterrent for me. But with the little encouragement from friends and family, and I would have made stuff for persons and they thoroughly loved it, I think that was just the motivation for me. And I think up to today, I still get giddy when I make something for someone and they are in love with it. And I think, yes, it's about the money, but that passion that comes from creating something and the love that a client would have for something that I made with these two hands, that for me is a very intoxicating and a very beautiful feeling.
I could attest to that.
Yes.
Now, where do you see your business evolving in the next 5 years?
I am hoping that Joa, which is actually Swahili for sunshine, becomes a household name because, like I say, I pride myself in making one-of-a-kind pieces. So when I make a piece for you, whether it's customized or something that I create for myself, I do not recreate it. So I think it would be really, really beautiful, if somebody could say, hey, this is a Joa piece. And they pride themselves in knowing nobody else has one like mine.
Yeah. And ladies, that's what we love. We love going to an event and knowing nobody else wearing what we're wearing. Thank you so much for allowing us to interview you here today. So how did the Irie people come to be? How did you all come together? How did this form? How it start?
Yeah. So in 2013, I was learning about handcraft through my sister in Tough Like Iron, a well-known Rastafari designer who had come to Trinidad through being with her child's father at the time. And so we met and she taught me about screen printing and about making things with my hand. And when I started to get into community development, I felt like I should have a craft village. And I think part of that too was also when you go to craft markets, you have the mix of the craft with commercial things like bath and body and all of these things. And sometimes it's a very hard competition. You know what I mean? To sell handmade things and for people to see the value in it when they're seeing commercial things that have plenty marketing behind it and all of that. So I wanted to create 100% handcraft market. So even though you may see one or two things from different places, most of our things are handmade, right? In this particular village. So that's what I emphasize on. And, that was the whole idea and the motive behind creating the Irie People Village.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I know you all focus on sustainability and cultural preservation, but how do you do that?
So Well, cultural preservation is through the craft. The people I liaise with, I mean, besides my own craft market, I'm a big cultural enthusiast. So I go to Emancipation Village, I go to the other markets, I meet crafters. I'm always in awe of people who make things, with their hands and very well. Craft really, in the definition of what craft is not the arts and craft that we know. Craft really is about moving a product from its raw stage to something that is unrecognizable, right? So when we take a calabash bowl and we just dig it out and think, yes, we've done some handcraft to it, but it's not really craft. When you take a calabash bowl and you make a cup out of it and you carve the engravings on it, and you look at it, so you have to tell people, no, this is a calabash, and they say, wow, really? So that is the level of cultural preservation, in that when we think about it too, this knowledge is ancestral, right? So whether we have African, Chinese, Indian background, which is what Trinbago made up of,
Right.
we have knowledge of our ancestral practices, right? So that is part of the cultural preservation, by pushing people to come out with their handcraft. In terms of sustainability, we just try to keep it very rootsy. You know what I mean? In terms of the pop-up vibes of it, we don't do a lot of plastic, as you will see. We try to encourage our vendors to use paper-based packaging and things like that. But on the whole, it's that. We come together as a village, and every person who participates brings something to the village. They bring their element. You know what I mean? Their essence. They do.
We are in the presence of royalty. I mean, literally. Her business name is
Royalty Napkins. I am Nicole Adams Bramble. Royalty Napkins was started as an event company initially. And when COVID hit, my kids decided, Mommy, sell your pepper sauce. And they had to pivot. Single mother had to feed your family some way or the other. So it was rebranded under Gourmet Sauces. And that is where everything started.
So that entire line of stuff started as just an idea, a suggestion from your children.
From my children.
Wow. So what type of feedback have you gotten from your customers about your product?
It depends on everybody's palate. The flavors we have, it's not really for everybody's palate, because it's more fruit or vegetable based flavors. So the pepper sauces, we have chocolate, we have pineapple, sorrel, mango, pumpkin. We have an apple also. Pineapple as well. That's the pepper sauce line. And then our jam line will consist of pumpkin, tomato, and carrot jams.
This sounding more like gourmet to me. This sounding not just restaurant. This sounding like expensive restaurant food. Condiments. You're not gonna get this in your everyday grocery store.
No, it's not in any groceries. And normally I tell persons they have to order. I don't make a big amount to leave it. I like to give persons everything as fresh as possible.
Quality stuff.
Right? So that is what we do at Royalty Napkins.
So how do you ensure customer satisfaction and quality?
I make sure if I have a market, most of the products are done like 3 days before. If I purchase, by the next day I start to make products. If not the same day, depending. So that way they get the freshest quality from the products, the ingredients. It's all natural ingredients, market stuff. No, we have a little preservative in it, but very little. Right? Because when I first started, I wasn't putting anything, but because it's fruits, when oxidization starts to take place, it would start to get dark. So I had to take the option and start adding some preservatives to the products. Then we started to do cuchillas and anchar. So we have a carrot cuchilla, 5-finger anchar, and stuff like
you
that.
have gone completely out of the box. You pick away the box.
Yeah, the box is not for everybody.
The box is not for everybody.
The box is not for everybody.
So where can they find you?
You can message me on WhatsApp. We have 747-3099 or 767-0933. And then there's Facebook, Royalty Napkins, and we're also on Instagram, Royalty Napkins_sources.
So guys, you heard it here first on Up Close and Personal with Moja. What is marketing like for you?
Social media, WhatsApp, broadcast messages. I personally have a large social network.
Right.
Besides Rastafari, besides craft, I also work community development. I do white tap. So my network is big enough that I think on WhatsApp, I do broadcasts and stuff like that, and that works. We started a Instagram page called Irie People TT. Slowly growing. We're about close to 50, I think, again, gaining traction because it's a new page and we gathering content and stuff like that. Again, before COVID, we had a Facebook page. If you go on our Facebook, you'd see we had at least 1,000 people at that time.
We're here with Kiba Designs, and as you can see, it's like, oh my God. But I'd let you have a word with the creator of this company, and she would be able to tell you more about her designs. So do you do all these designs yourself?
Yes, everything displayed here today, I made it from scratch. Yes.
From scratch?
Yes. I purchased the material, I made a pattern, I sewed it, I put it together.
This too?
Yes.
This is beautiful. I found my spirit bag, right? What inspires your creativity? Because everything that I've seen here is so inspired. I mean, and that's the only word I could use to describe what I'm seeing.
I think it's from childhood, seeing my mom sew, seeing her just take the simplest of materials and make something from it. I grew up, I grew up just loving the way she would do things like that. Yeah, so I turned the sewing into art. Yeah.
What is the most unique feature about your product?
I think the customization, the fact that a person could get their name embroidered on the bag, printed on the bag, even the favorite phrase could be placed on a bag.
Okay, I saw you have something that really piqued my curiosity. It's your coffee. You tell them.
Yes, it's journals. It's leather journals, and the paper in the journal itself is coffee stained. So you get that coffee scent, and then it gives the paper kind of old vintage look. So that's what I was going for, yes.
You have to see it yourself. So you know what? You're gonna have to call her. So tell them how to find you.
Okay, so we are based in Shigwana Street Village, and we're on Instagram. You can find us on Instagram. We're on Facebook, but we really like to draw our customers to Instagram, and you can contact me via WhatsApp 301-1922.
Okay, guys, and you heard it here first on Up Close and Personal with Moja. All right, so I understand. We don't want to stay too long on a particular point, but I need for the audience to understand that when you all charge a particular price, it's not that you're just trying to get rich quick.
Yeah.
It's about the standard of the product, the quality that you're getting. And then too, take for example, if it is a grocery owner, right, buying water, he's not going to order 3 cases. He's going to order hundreds of cases at a time. So he gets it at a reduced cost. But if it is a shop owner goes to buy water, he may only be able to buy a few cases at a time. So he has to pay full price.
Yeah.
When you all go to buy materials, you all can't buy like China.
Correct.
You understand?
Correct.
You all are buying what you can afford.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So your price is going to be higher.
Yeah.
So obviously when you factor in that with your time and your expertise and all of these things, your prices are inadvertently going to be higher.
Yeah.
So let's still show support and try to be as, mindful.
Correct.
when we're buying. Let us all be informed consumers so we can make the right decisions.
Yeah. And I also want to add, let's be a little patriotic. I mean, I don't want to bang any hammer, you know what I mean? Like, be patriotic, love your country. But, it's always interesting to me. I travel, not well travel, but I've traveled. I've been to Jamaica. And I think it's always interesting. And, your viewers would have to tell us in the comments, maybe. When you travel outside, you see craft there. You go Jamaica, you go Grenada, Barbados, and you might be like, whoa, I love this. I want to buy it. But you're in Trinidad and somebody making something similar and you're like, so much money, so much money they want. You understand? But you go Barbados and they say 100 EC and they say, yes,
Give me two.
I love it. I want it. So I just want Trinbagonians to remember the red, white, and black. Come home to yourself. This is our people. This is our thing. This is our craft.
And charity begins at home.
Correct. And
love is exercised at home first. You have to love yourself before you can love others.
yeah. And one of my favorite things to say right now is community. Right? We have to remember community. Community means community.
I love that.
Yeah, that's what it means. So, we say it in the English way, community. But community means community. Right? And that's what we need. We need people to surround the makers. We need people to surround the writers. We need people to surround the artists. The people who belong to us, we need to surround them and stop eating them alive. We have, we have this thing, culture vultures. You know what I mean? People who just rather come and take what we do, carry it outside, make money outside, and then down here is like nothing. And much more. I know this is a small example, of the talent we have in Trinidad.
So it's actually a merge between Dynasty Designs and Africa Clothing and Designs. Here we do handcraft pieces such as bracelets, earrings, waist beads, you name it.
Yeah, also crochet. You have we have any right now, but we have like customized African pieces, no urban way, more urban way African design pieces.
That's very interesting. So what is your business mission?
African mission is really introduce our urban style of African way, fusing urban and traditional style, so more younger people could gravitate of really embracing the culture.
Okay. It's interesting that you would have said, for the younger people to come toward it, because I wanted to find out, like, with how things are now where everything is at your fingertips. You could go on Amazon, you could order stuff, and everything is cheaper, and it's getting even cheaper. How has that impacted on what you do?
Not really affected because every piece have its customer. So that people who will want more cheaper things, people will want more expensive things. So it's what someone really want, they'll buy what they like. So once you can put out something that people who attract their eyes, they will support them. Right?
What new trends are you seeing, and in your industry, handicraft? And how are you adapting to those new trends?
Well, the new trend for sure is content. People like to see content of what they're doing and stuff, and that is what we doing now, trying to make more content and actually make more videos and put it out there. So that will adaptation really when it comes to this part of the business. Right?
And also back then you would have to post, and you would get customers. Now you have to put yourself out there as in traveling, and advertising your product better. So yeah. All right. So where can they find you? On Instagram, Facebook, yeah. And what name are they looking for? Dynasty Designs and Africa Clothing and Designs. Any phone numbers that you want to give out? 332-0155
and 335-3427.
All right, guys, and you saw exactly what it is these people have to offer. It is amazing. And let's talk about the part of this that people usually don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
So you can go to Shogunis and get a pair of earrings for $20, $10, if you want them gold, like the ones that you're wearing, you know,
Yeah.
these people on the side of the road with this
These are
gold.
copper.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they don't fade.
Yeah.
And you can buy one of those for maybe $60.
Yeah.
How do you all price your items to compete with what is going on now?
What a
I
great
mean, and
question.
I know,
What
I
a
know I
great
keep
question.
asking.
No, it's so relevant, but let me tell you, when you say compete, we cannot compete. We can't compete with China. China, we might make what might take us to make one thing would take them to make 100. You know what I mean? Like if we're talking about these copper earrings, which are locally made by Mr. Wayne Parrott, right? One of my copper crafters. I just saying, if China was to make this, they would have machinery to press out 100 of these. What I'm trying to do with the Irie People Village, and again, thank you so much, La Moja Media, for coming and representing us, because this is what we need. We need the media to come in and highlight the value of our creators. This is Trinidad and Tobago. What we make personally here should have naturally, inherently more value than something from anywhere else.
This is
in
what
the
I
world,
agree with.
right? And especially when you talk about mass production like China, because when time goes along, if ones and ones know, it's not even just about getting it cheaper. The reality is sometimes China uses things that are harmful. That after a while, like when it comes to toys, after a while they have to do recall because they may use a plastic that, you know, after 4 or 5 years it starts to leach out, right? And the children sucking on it or they're playing with it. So these are things that we as consumers have to become knowledgeable and conscious about. And this is something under the Irie People Village, makers of Trinidad and Tobago. I have a press release to do after this, and I want to put it out there that it is about valuing craft and creativity. When you own something somebody made, right? I mean, mind you, this is not a unique one-of-a-kind piece, right? It's not. He may have made a few dozens of these. But I personally own items, I'm sure you do, that somebody made and there is not one like it and you alone own that. And I think that we have lost that. I think where that really started to go down is especially when it came to store-bought clothes. When we were growing up, I knew about seamstresses and tailors.
That's
All
right.
my clothes were handmade. Yeah, especially when you had a special event, a wedding or something, you buy your clothes and you go buy your seamstress and you say, I want this. And this is how then and then mind you, so that was a little costly because it took time, right?
Yeah.
So if a seamstress have to take your order, she might say, okay, 150. When you think about it, it really wasn't that expensive because the time somebody taking to draft your pattern, cut out your thing, sew it up by hand.
And don't forget the best part, you're getting to go and do a fitting.
You understand?
So when you
say
go on and
exactly.
try it on now and you see, okay, this needs to take in, that needs to let out, the hem
Right.
too short. But when you go in a store and you buy it, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that when we lost that, when people started to value store-bought clothes and they started to think that store-bought clothes was better. So when the whole Old Navy and that kind of Aeropostale, remember in the early 2000s, Aeropostale became a trend and people are like, I just want a jersey with Old Navy or Aeropostale, and you're paying $200 just because it have Old Navy on it. But if the seamstress tell you 200 for a skirt, you're boiling, oh God, so much money, and not taken into consideration. Whereas, and I'm telling this to your listeners because you know I'm an activist on all levels, is child labor in plenty of these places that are doing this.
It's sweatshops.
It's sweatshops, right? People working for less than $1 US a day just so that you could own a Old Navy jersey for 20 or 10 US.
Wait, an Old Navy jersey that 25,000 people wearing.
Correct. And you buying it for $10, right? So when you think about it too, it's like, let's not go down there because I have thought about it. I say, but if they're making a profit on this $10 jersey, how much does it cost them to make it? You know, and remember the retailers still have to put a profit on it. So they're making it for $5 US. How much they paying these people? It have to be cents on the dollar, you know. So again, it's one of those things where when you balance it, you know, some people, they don't care.
what are the goals of the Irie People Village?
Ooh, okay. So yeah, because the short-term goal is just to gather people again and have a thriving marketplace that we can come together and highlight craft, right? And also share camaraderie. You see the little vibes. We have camaraderie anytime we come together. It's a real village in that, like my brother Jazzy, who just stopped in. Back in the day, I just given all that. We used to have a bread vendor, one of my brethren. He used to bring freshly baked bread. We used to buy our bread, the village, Irie People Village. We used to buy our bread, somebody buy a cheese, we eat it, bread and cheese in the village. You know, I have been to many markets and you don't feel that same vibe. In Irie People Village, we have that vibe. So my thing is to keep building, keep creating a network, a community of people. My long-term vision, it has been an ongoing vision, still yet to be recognized, is but I want to create an Irie People Village directory. I want to create a physical paper magazine that we can drop at the airport or we can drop at certain places and that people could, if you're looking for a leather crafter, you could find a leather crafter. You will have a list, north, south, east, west.
I think that that's very important, and I would appreciate something like that because I don't like going into Port of Spain, and the only people I know do leather craft is in Port of Spain.
Yeah.
Right? And you find I wouldn't wear much of that because you're not finding it. It's not easily accessible to the general public. But if you do have a listing, then it's easy for you to call and they may do delivery or something like that, and step up the game a little bit, transform it, become more relevant, that kind of
thing. I like when you say transform because I think the other side of that is innovation, and innovation comes about when different crafters meet. So if a couple artists meets a leather crafter and they have a good vibe, that's when you get innovation. You might get a bag with copper in it, right? Or a leather bracelet with a copper decoration or something.
I've noticed a steady stream that is flowing between the artists that I interview and then now you, and everybody is calling for one thing: collaboration.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was just there, but you just said it. Sometimes I would look at stuff on Amazon and I'm seeing, oh, look at them wear my sandals.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the sandal, but the sandal have a gold thing or a copper thing or some kind of thing. But when you're looking at leathercraft, it's just the same type.
Yeah.
And it's time for you all to,
innovate.
Become a little bit more innovative.
More current with the trends.
Correct. And stuff. Because remember, you all have that competition.
Yes.
They would have gotten it from all here, and then they enhanced it and made it theirs.
For sure.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, collaboration.
It's important to be relevant.
Yeah.
I think that is a real big point for those watching this episode. If you are a maker, the time for Best Village Craft, forgive me, I'm not trying to be tongue-in-cheek, but we have to be current. Yeah. So things that people used to wear 20, 30 years ago, we're not on that same cultural level anymore. No. We've elevated it. So when before it was just a drag slipper, now we have gladiator wraparound slippers. We have, to be more current. So it's not just like, back in the day we would have worn like a rubber ding, right? Like just a normal single strap. Now we have wraparound straps. Now we have invisible straps. You're slipping your toe on. So if you don't know these new styles or you yourself, you're trying to push your creativity to our next level, you will become irrelevant. And you'll find that when you go market, you will feel like you're not getting the audience,